That's awesome. Thanks for coming in today. I wanted to go over a little bit of our confidentiality and some information before we get started, if that's okay with you.
Sounds great.
Okay, so everything we discuss, of course, will be kept confidential in the room, except for the following exceptions. If you express any danger to yourself or that there may be danger to others, I am mandated to report that. Sexual or physical abuse or neglect of a minor, vulnerable adult, or elder, if there's any of that, I may need to report as well. If there's a subpoena at any point, or threat to the life of the President of the United States.
Okay,
Have you questions
No.
so far? Okay. So let's go ahead and, dive right in. So tell me a little bit about what brings you in.
Well, my husband thinks that I needed to see somebody in regards to, he thinks I have an irrational fear of spiders.
Oh.
I would say that it's getting there.
Yeah.
I started to change things about my life to avoid having the fear of spiders, having just the thought of spiders. So I'd say it's kind of controlling my life at this point.
You really do think it's controlling your life?
Yeah, I would say so. We don't have a lot of furniture in our house anymore, for fear that there might be spider eggs, underneath the couches or chairs or table. There's not many places to sit in our home anymore.
I can imagine that's pretty distressing.
It's more distressing for my family that we don't have furniture. I think it helps kind of relax me because I don't worry about there being spider eggs all in my house, or when I sleep at night I don't have to worry about spiders crawling into my mouth while I sleep.
Oh my goodness, yeah. No, that is pretty concerning. Is this recent? Is this something that you can trace back in your life?
I've never liked bugs, but I saw a documentary on the Discovery Channel about 3 years ago on the 10 most poisonous spiders, and that just terrified me. And I think that's probably when the problem started.
Okay. And you said, I'm sorry, a couple years ago?
About 3 years ago.
Okay.
And then shortly after I saw the documentary, we went to Belize, and I was actually chased by a wandering spider.
Oh no!
And it was terrifying. I thought I was gonna die.
Yeah, that would be scary. I think a lot of people are scared of spiders, so you're not alone in that at all.
They're disgusting creatures.
When you see a spider, do you get any sort of reaction in your body?
I feel like I'm having a heart attack. I can't breathe.
Okay.
I get a numbing sensation in my hands and feet. And then if that continues and I don't feel like anything's being done, or I can't leave the situation, I get really dizzy as well.
Oh, you do?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Does that even happen, say, you see spiders on TV?
Yeah, I'll have to change the channel immediately. Even if I see something that I think might be a spider, I can start feeling some of these symptoms as well. Sometimes it's been something as small as a piece of dirt or a fuzzball that from a distance looks like a spider, and my heart starts racing, and then I start getting these sensations all throughout my body, and it's harder for me to breathe, and more often than not, it's not a spider, but it could be a spider. You never know.
Okay, so you do experience some of those when you actually see the spider, or even really start thinking about the spiders. Did you guys have you had spiders in your house that you've actually seen?
Yes, we have seen spiders, but I also have the exterminator come on a monthly basis.
Okay.
So I don't see as many, but they could be hiding in our cupboards.
Okay.
So I've yet to take the cupboards down. My husband won't allow that. But they could be there. I just haven't seen them.
Right. Okay. And you said you have a husband. You said you have children?
Yes, we do. We have two small boys.
Okay. How old are they?
6 and 3.
Oh, those are fun ages.
they are rambunctious. They keep me busy.
They're probably pretty busy for you.
Yeah.
Do they like bugs?
They think it's kind of entertaining. They think they think my fear of spiders is amusing to them.
Oh.
But actually, my younger one has started to develop a fear of spiders as well. So that's kind of unnerving. I don't wish this on him. It's not something I enjoy feeling, but I don't feel like it's anything that I can control either. So I'm not really sure how to deal with that. And I know I'm just kind of driving them crazy with this fear, but it's very consuming.
Yeah, tell me a little more about your day-to-day. So it's consuming, to be thinking about one thing constantly all the time. I think that would drive anyone crazy.
Yeah.
And so when you get up in the morning, what is your day like? Can you run through that with me?
Yep. Well, I get up and I get dressed, but before I can put my feet on the ground, I have to make sure there's nothing on the ground that looks like a spider, or make sure there's no spiders on the ground. Then I get in the shower, and I have to make sure I shake out my towel before I can use it. I have to scan the bathroom, make sure nothing's in there. Anytime I put my slippers on, I have to dump them out. And a lot of time I'll just kick them, just for fear that there might be a spider in there and it could jump on me, so I just kick the slippers across the room. And then I get ready for work, and I go to work. And then when I come home from work, I do the normal routine, get ready to cook dinner, and just kind of go about that. I'd say most of my time is spent checking for spiders before I go to bed. I cover myself in insect repellent, and that can be a little time consuming because, I want to make sure it's on. Insect repellent is covering me head to toe, just in case. You never know. When a spider might be lurking around the corner.
Sure. Yeah. Okay, so when you're at work, does this affect your work performance?
Yes, it does. I have bug traps, like the glue traps everywhere. So I put them in all the corners. I don't have drawers in my desk, because just for fear there might be spider eggs in there. Everything's pretty open, so I can have a good eye on where everything is and just make sure that nothing's kind of hiding or nesting anywhere. But yeah, it's a concern at work as well. It's gotten worse, I would say, within the past few years.
Okay. What about any other areas of your life that it may be affecting?
It significantly affects my relationships, mainly with my husband. I've always been considered a worrywart. I've always had some kind of anxiety, but it's gotten to the point that I'm just driving my husband crazy. He's having we're having a difficult time interacting. We're having a difficult time communicating. So, yeah, and then my children, it's affecting them as well.
Yeah, you did mention the one is kind of starting to develop a little bit of a fear of spiders too. Do you think that you're able to be really close with your children, or do you feel like this is a thought that's constantly going in the back of your mind?
Oh, it's constant. There might be times every now and then where I might be able to briefly stop worrying about spiders.
Okay.
But I feel like I'm hypervigilant in general. Like,
okay.
I'm just very aware of my surroundings, where they could be, and so it's
okay.
a present thought.
Yeah. Okay. Well, let's talk a little bit before this fear started really escalating. 3 years back. Have you ever been into therapy? Have you ever had a therapist?
Yeah, I saw a therapist before my husband and I got married to help me kind of deal with my anxiety. It wasn't about anything in particular at that point. I just kind of worried all the time, and it was really overwhelming, and that just seemed to be what was on my mind, just worrying about future events, planning for things, making sure I met deadlines, worrying about just really anything and everything, paying bills on time, and it kind of got overwhelming. So I saw a therapist for probably about 6 months.
Okay, so you saw a therapist. Have you, you had any experiences with maybe depression or, extreme sadness, hopelessness?
I would say recently, yes. I'm starting to feel a lot more depressed and isolated. I don't really feel like my husband can relate to me, or really many people that I interact with can relate to me. So I'm feeling. I would say I get kind of depressed about it sometimes.
Okay. Have you had a change in energy in the last couple weeks, or maybe even the last 6 months? Go back even further.
I think it varies. Sometimes, some days I have more energy than others, and then some days I'm just really kind of bummed, and I just want to stay in bed. But I'm still able to go about my daily business and everything. I just may not be as enthusiastic, and I'm just kind of going through the motions more so. But
okay. Now, growing up, did you have any experiences with spiders or any other thing that you can think that caused some fear?
Like I said, I never really liked insects in general. I always would scream for my mom or my dad to come kill the spiders or the bugs in general. I just didn't like them, but I didn't think about them if I didn't see them.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so some brief therapy. Have you been on any medications for anxiety related or even depression?
No, I've never. I was prescribed some Xanax, a low dosage of Xanax to take symptomatically. But I'm just not somebody who wants to become dependent on pills. So after the one prescription, I just didn't get it refilled. So.
Okay. Did you feel like maybe do you think that helped at all?
I think it did, but I don't really have a positive view of medication, so
Sure. Okay.
I think that just wasn't for me.
Okay. So would you say if you had on a scale maybe of 1 to 100, how would you rate your anxiety throughout the day? Not at specific times, but just, an average.
100 being the worst?
Yes.
On average, I'd say I'm probably at a 78.
Okay. So pretty distressed.
Yeah.
Okay. So what would your goals be here coming into therapy? I know that it's not comfortable to have this, fear constantly and these thoughts.
Right.
So what specific things would you like to address?
I'd like to be able to interact with my family and be at home and just be relaxed for once and see what that feels like. I mean, I haven't really been relaxed for several years now. So I'd like to be okay with having furniture in the home like a normal family does, and just have people be able to come over and not ask, why is there no furniture in your house? And for me to have to go into a lengthy explanation as to, well, I mean, it's because there's the possibility of spider eggs living in my furniture.
Sure. Do you have people over often?
No, we don't.
No. Okay.
My kids don't even invite people over. I think my 6-year-old's kind of embarrassed.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay. Do you have any feelings of, I hear a little bit of, some guilt, I guess, in your voice. Do you feel like you have any guilt and shame related to it?
Absolutely, because I feel that I should be able to control this, but I can't, and so I would say there's a lot of guilt and shame associated with that.
Okay. Well, I think I have a good sense of, your experience, what you're experiencing, and maybe some goals that you have that we can come up with in therapy. So I think we're going to go ahead and stop for today, and we'll meet next week, and we'll go a little bit over, how your week was and come up with a treatment plan. Does that sound okay?
Yeah, that sounds great.
Okay, thanks for coming in today.
All right, thank you.